Very good morning from the sports desk. The football fraternity will say its final goodbyes to one of its most celebrated sons. Clive The Dog Barker died last week following a long battle with illness. He led South Africa to their only Africa Cup of Nations crown in 1996. He's been granted a special official provincial funeral in Durban. Joining us live is eNCA Sports Editor Vata Ngobeni. Hi again, Vata. I know proceedings will begin in just around 30 minutes. Who are some of the guests that you've seen attending the funeral to pay tribute?
Yeah, good morning, Nandi. I just want to step into a conversation here with the man who got Clive The Dog Barker flying at FNB Stadium in 1996, the one and only Mark Williams. Not only did he get Clive Barker flying, he took South Africa to the top of African football and to the top 20 in world football. Mark, a sad day, but also a joyous day. Your coach, the man you sent flying on that field at FNB Stadium all those years ago, he's no more.
Yeah, it is a sad day, but also a celebration day for me. That's how I want to remember him. I remember that when we came to the national team, how he welcomed us, how he made us feel so special, made even our family to come and join. You don't get coaches like that anymore. And that's why all these players that played that time wanted to make sure when they go onto the field that they give everything for the country and for a coach that was a wonderful person like Clive Barker.
I'm sure you've been asked this question many times. What did Clive Barker say to you when he took you off the bench in that final? What were the words that eventually got to see you score those goals?
Look, he wasn't a coach of many words, actually, because, you know, we had discussions already the night before the game. And I went out, you know, and because the night before he said to me, he asked another coach, his assistant coach, Durban, do you think Williams is ready? And Durban said to me, there's one player that's ready, it's Mark. And I left them there. So on the day, there was a few things, spiritual things that goes through my head. And I said, today is my day. Because I've got a coach that said to me, didn't say a few words, just said, go on, you know what to do. And, you know, 2 minutes when I scored that first goal, I wasn't sure actually. Am I still dreaming or, you know, is it real? But when I scored the second goal, then I realized that, you know, we won the AFCON Cup, which is almost 28 years later, 27 years later, but we had a special coach. You know, he made each and every player believe in their ability. He gave them confidence. There wasn't about, when it was business. But sometimes you could come and I could sit in his room and even have a drink with him. That's how special he was. So that's all you want to do. On the day, you just want to give 100%. And I could run until 120 minutes for a coach like that. So he'll be sorely missed. I hope today we not just celebrated about Coach Clive Barker, but let there be something to people remember that 28 years ago, this was the first coach that took his country to win the first AFCON Cup. And don't say it. Call the stadium, because he's a legend here in Durban. Call the stadium after his name. I mean, there's 4 or 5 stadiums. You know, let kids know that that was a special coach. And you know, I will be unveiling that to come down here to Durban if they call the Clive Barker or the Dog, whatever stadium they want to call it, because he was a special coach.
We saw last night one of his sons, Sean Bartlett, take Cape Town Spurs back into the Premiership. We spoke to him this morning, and he spoke about how special Clive was, not just as a coach, but as a father figure. And he felt his spirit with him yesterday. Please speak to us about Clive the father.
Well, Clive the father, well, that's interesting. When we used to get the call for the national team, we were like kids. We were so excited, we couldn't wait to see him. You know, when you come in there, you're just looking where the coach is, and then you see that small little doggy there in the corner, and he always used to open us with, you know, open arms, and always give advice, you know. All he wanted was 45 minutes on the day when we trained. He said, 45 minutes, all I need. And then afterwards, go do your hair, Mark, you know, go play a bit of golf, and that's a freedom players want. Nowadays, you don't get that in Bafana. You try and call the players now for this friendly game they're playing against Morocco. You can't even get hold of them. It's like they're playing for a World Cup. So when players are tense, and people must understand, we are South Africans. We got a free spirit. So we need to be a bit free. Discipline. What I like about Coach Clive Barker, the special thing, he gave the players responsibility. And that's why we could go onto the field and don't wait for him. amongst each other, we would tell each other, hey, Baba, come on, if you're making it difficult for me, and coach is seeing it. And that's what he had. We had a great captain that just rooted from Clive, from Neil Tovey, and it went down to the place. There wasn't one captain. We were 22 captains. That's how special Clive made it, and that's how I want him to be remembered.
Sad indictment that we sit here talking about 28 years ago. National team struggles to qualify for AFCON. Let's not even talk about where they are in the world rankings.
Yeah, look, he said, I always say that, you know, if you want to get the team up there, you need to get players that play the game, that traveled. Nowadays, and I remember that time, we must have been about probably 15% or 50% of players that played internationally. So the bulk had experience. So when we came down to South Africa, we took the local guys and we had a nice breed, and Clive made that breed, put that breed together. That's what we need. We need our players to go and compete internationally. Don't play for I'm not saying don't play for Sundowns because the money's there. Go and play international, you know, because football is short. You know, I've played in so many countries, and thanks God for that. You know, Clive Barker gave me the opportunity. I was at Wolverhampton Wanderers. They wanted me to have a letter from the coach who said, I'm part of the future. Clive Barker wrote the letter. He said, Mark Williams will be one of my players going for 96 going forward. And I got a 3-year contract, so that for me was special. And that's what I want players to do. Don't stay here in South Africa, go and play. People are only going to remember you and play for your country and play overseas. Tomorrow, you don't have nothing to show for. So as a legend, I'm telling the players, go out there and challenge yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. And also for the Bafana team, you guys can do it. But we need to get players that play the game, that want it, that can share with the players that special things, so that it can rub off and we can win another AFCON Cup.
Thank you very much, Mark Williams. As I said, the man who got Clive Barker flying at FNB Stadium 26 years ago, or 28 years ago rather, Mark Williams talking about Clive Barker, the coach, talking about Clive Barker, the man, the father, the friend, but more than anything, saying that something's got to be done to honor the memory and legacy of Clive Barker. Name a stadium after him, do something, make sure that Clive Barker's name never dies. Nandi?
Yeah, Vata, as much as it's a very sad day for the football fraternity, it's also a good opportunity to reminisce and appreciate the football hero that was Clive Barker. I'm going to leave things there for now, Vata. I know the funeral will start soon. More from the sports desk a little bit later on.